Do you really have what it takes to be a successful real estate agent? This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and today I'm going to share with you 6 soft skills that you must possess in order to be successful in this business. They're non-negotiables. You have to have them. Number 1, of course, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to get your point across, and you need to be able to hear the point that's coming back at you. You have to understand all the methods of communication. You've got verbal, you've got nonverbal. You've got to put your hands around all of that stuff. You got to be reading books about it. You got to be going to seminars about it. You got to be practicing it, but you need to be an expert ninja communicator in order to crush it in the real estate business. The second thing that you need to do is part of communication. It could have been the first thing that I said on my list. Number 2, you have to be an active listener. When I say active listener, that means you have to hear what the person is actually saying, not just their words, not even just the meaning, the initial meaning, but you have to understand the context enough of the person that you're communicating with, in this case, your client, where you really understand what they're saying and where they're coming from. Part of active listening is body language. Part of active listening is not talking. Did you hear that? Part of active listening is knowing the right questions to ask to get to the next layer of the communication that they're trying to put out there to you. To be active listener, you have to be involved. It is a science and it is an art. It can be practiced, it can be studied, it can be learned. So number 1, you need to know how to communicate. Number 2, you need to know how to be an active listener. Number 3, you need to have social savvy, social awareness. And what do I mean by that? Well, you've met people that are just downright awkward. Like when you see them or meet them in a place, they don't know whether to shake your hand or hug you. They don't look you in the eye enough. They don't talk loud enough that you can hear it. They don't recognize things about you when you're putting them out there for them to recognize. You have to be the one that is socially aware. If they have on a Boston Red Sox hat, you need to pay attention to it. If they have a bumper sticker on their car, pay attention. If you're watching their social media, pay attention to the things that they stand for. Is it family? Is it political? Is it religious? You need to know all of the social things about them. You also have to be socially aware of what is going on around the world. When something's going on in the news, and I'm not saying that you have to watch the news every day, but if you don't know what the world is dealing with, you're missing out on an opportunity to communicate more effectively to your client. It may deeply be affecting them. Just be socially aware. Pay attention to the signals that they're putting out for you. So number 3, be socially aware. Number 4, you have to be able to negotiate effectively. This is one of my favorite things about real estate. The way I define negotiation is the ability for you to get the desired outcome for all parties. Now, obviously, if you're representing the buyer, you want to negotiate for your client and get their desired outcome. But in my opinion, negotiation is collaborative. It means that you can negotiate in such a way that both buyer and seller and agents and attorneys and inspectors, that it can all be in harmony. You have to be a master negotiator. Again, this is something that can be practiced. It's something that can be read about. It is something that can be improved. So when you are negotiating for a client, pay attention. Did you get the outcome that you deserve, and why or why not? And work on getting that. There are great books out there that you can read about negotiation. Find those and dig deep. Number 4, you have to be able to negotiate. Number 5, and one of my favorites, you have to have patience. And I'll say this, in order to be an effective real estate agent, you have to be the most patient person in the room. If you get patiented, it's not a word, but it is today. If someone shows more patience than you lose. That's the way that I look at it. Don't let people get under your skin. Don't let circumstances rock your boat. Be more patient than everybody else in the transaction. Be more patient than your client. Be more patient than the other agent. Be more patient than the attorney that wants everything right now. Be more patient than the lender, the home inspector, and the list could go on and on. Patience, again, is something that can be practiced and something that can be learned about. All of these things you need to be evaluating on a day-to-day basis in a quiet place with an honest heart. How am I doing with my patience? The last one, number 6, thing that you need to know how to do in order to be an effective real estate agent is you must be tactful. There are a lot of times where you have to say things that someone else doesn't want to hear. I had someone say their most effective coach that they ever had was the one that said what they needed to hear, not what they wanted to hear. Have you ever been told no by someone and it was in such a tactful way, it almost felt like you were being told yes? You need to learn how to do that. If there's bad news to deliver, you need to know how to be tactful. If your client is getting out of line, or an attorney or another agent or a lender is getting out of line in your opinion, you need to know how to be tactful in order to get the train back on the track. Tactful and patient go hand in hand. It's just needing to keep the bigger goal in mind above the emotional feeling that you might be feeling at the moment. So if you think you have all that it takes to be an effective real estate agent, if you've been looking at your results and it screams that you're exactly where you need to be, I'm super happy for you. But if there are things that you feel like you need to improve, things that you could do better, things that you can get more fine-tuned with, these are the 6 things that I would focus on first. Soft skills, people skills, emotional intelligent things that you can work on day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year to be the most effective real estate agent you can be. You need to learn how to communicate. You need to learn how to be a better active listener. You need to be socially aware. You need to learn how to negotiate. You have to have the most patience, and you have to be tactful in your communication. Again, this is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and I hope this video helps you rise up.